when you multiply polynomials, you multiply the coefficients and you add the exponents. So we were doing the distributive property. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this 2x times each term in here. So you're going to multiply 2 times 1, which is 2, but x times x is x squared. Then you're going to multiply 2 times negative 5, which gives you a negative 10, and then don't forget about the x. At the end, you can't do anything else. These are not like terms, so this is your answer. Okay, then B, you're going to multiply 3 times 1, because there's a 1 in front of there, so it's 3. X times x is x squared. And then multiply 3 times 4, so it's plus 12x. There's our answer. And then C is negative 1x, so negative 1x times 2x is negative 2x squared. Negative 1x times negative 3 is positive 3x. There's your answer. So if there's not a number in front, you can write a negative 1. And the next line, 3 times 8 is 24. And then x to the first times x to the squared is x to the third. Then 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. But x to the 1 times x to the 1 is x squared. Then 3 times 2 is 6, and then you have an x. And then letter E, 2 times 2 is 4. A squared times a cubed, you add them, so it's a to the 5th. And then this 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, a to the 4th. And 2 times 3 is 6a squared. Then letter F, x times x squared is going to be x cubed, because there's a 1 right there. X times 2x is 2x squared. There's a 1 and a 1. X times 4 is 4x. Then over here, negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. B squared is b to the 4th. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16, b to the 3rd power, because 2 and 1 is 3. And negative 4b squared times negative 1 is a positive, because a negative times a negative is a positive, 4b squared. Now we're going to go backwards. Write the following polynomials as a product of two factors. This time, instead of starting with parentheses and going to something without parentheses, down here you are starting without parentheses, and now we're going to add it. So what you have to do is you have to look at what is something that's all, it's called the greatest common factor. What do they all have in common that's the greatest? What's the highest number or the variable that they all have in common? So for this one, there's not an x for all three, so it can't be x. But all of these numbers can be divided by 3. That's the highest number. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a 3 on the left-hand side, parentheses, and there's 2 pluses, because there's 2 pluses right here. So now you divide 6x squared by 3. So 6x squared divided by 3 is 2x squared. I should have wrote or root's bigger. So that's 2x squared. Then you're going to do, so I can do 3 times 2x squared is 6x squared. What do I multiply 3 by to get 3x? 3 times something is 3x. That's x. Then I do 3 times something is 9. That's 3. So I'll write this better. So it's 3 times 2x squared plus x plus 3. So now if you distributed this, you should get the exact same answer as this. This is called factoring. So let's try letter B. Let's factor this one. So the greatest common factor, what do both of these have in common? Well, they both have x's. Now what can I divide both of these numbers by? You can divide them both by 5. So I'm going to take a 5 and an x out. That's called my GCF, my greatest common factor. So I put a 5x on the left-hand side, parentheses under. I put a subtraction sign because this one has subtraction. Now I do, what do I multiply 5x by to get 10x squared? 5x times something is 10x squared. That's going to be 2x because 5 times 2 is 10 and x times x is x squared. Then what do I multiply 5x by to get 5x? So 5x times something is 5x. It's the exact same thing, so it's 1. So there's my answer. And letter C. Now I'm looking at what do all three have in common? They all have a b. Now what can I divide all of these numbers by? I can divide them by 2. So my GCF is 2b. So what I do is I put 2b on the outside, minus, minus. What do I multiply 2b by to get 2b cubed? I get b squared. What do I multiply 2b by to get 6b squared? 3b. What do I multiply 2b by to get 12b? 6. So this is my factored. And then over here, these both have x's, so my greatest common factor is x. But this one has a 2 and this one has a 1, so I don't need to write a 1 on the outside. So I put an x on the outside, parentheses, a plus. I can what do I multiply x by to get 2x squared? 2x. What do I multiply x by to get x? Just a 1. So there's my answer. Okay, let's try a couple more of these. I'm going to skip this one. I didn't mean to write 3x plus x. So I'm going to cross this one out. Okay, these two both have a 2 and an x. So I put 2x on the outside, a plus sign. What do I multiply 2x by to get 2x squared? Multiply it by x. What do I multiply a 2x by to get 4x? I get a 2. So that's factored. The next one, they both have b's in them. So I know b is going to be my greatest common factor. And they can both divide them by 3. So I'm going to write 3b right here. So what can I multiply 3b by to get 3ab? Well, I'm missing an a. Plus. What can I multiply 3b by to get 6b? A 2. So there's my answer. And the last one, they both have b's. I can divide them both by 2. So 2b is the greatest common factor. So to go from 2 to 14, I multiply by 7. I already have a b, and now I need an a. To go from 2b to 10b, I need to go from 2 to 10, so I'm going to multiply by 5. So there's my answer. It's called factoring when you go backwards.